wanted to ask Pankaj just to talk about a little bit about the what Anand spoke right now. I would like to come back briefly to that rationalism and meaning, but before that, technology and how that plays a part in freedom. Can you talk about that?
Yes, that's a very good point, because technology did help us a lot in freeing us from when we are talking about independence, and we are questioning the tag. What is the tag of independent cinema mean? I think generally the term itself came into existence because we do need escape and independence from what? From the structure, the infrastructure that is needed to make a film, make a feature film, to get your ideas on screen, and which has been humongous. It takes a lot to make a film. A lot of people, big technologies, shooting on film, there's a lot of money involved. So when big money gets involved, then there's a structure and a system that gets involved, and then it becomes increasingly difficult to get out of that system, because that system is built upon the perceptions of very few people, handful of people, over a period of very long time. And that system has made the entire population believe that this is the structure that survives. And this is the structure on which you have to survive, because the existence of those handful of people's ideas depend on this system. So independence is what we need from this system to tell the ideas which do not conform to any systematic structure. To do that, you'll have to be independent of the money structure. The moment you make your resources cheap, the moment you get an idea to be able to acquire the resources you need to tell your idea in a cheaper way, then there's a possibility of escaping that structure. And that's where technology came to our rescue, because the film technology was simply too expensive for us to begin with to make this film. And to make it in a proper 35 format, the way the established way of filmmaking, then we would have had to go through the same system. And the system would not have allowed us to make the film the way we wanted to make, because since the beginning it was the question that this script we don't understand, this doesn't run, the audience will not understand it. So how do you get an idea which the system does not believe will function into the market to the audience? You just have to make the film. That's the first stage. Without the film, without the existence of the film, there's nothing. So for the first thing is, the film has to exist. We have to make the film. So the evolution of technology, where cameras have become very small, and these cameras with which you're shooting are taking our pictures, it's very much possible to make an entire feature film on these cameras. In fact, I made a film on one of these cameras, Canon 1D Mark IV, which is amazing, which just freed us from the entire hegemony of corporate structure. We were, the moment we had a small camera like a DSLR in our hands, and the moment we realized that it's possible to make our entire feature film on this small camera, we were free in our minds. Like, it was suddenly like we can shoot anything we want. We can shoot anywhere we want. We don't have to conform to anybody's wishes of how this film has to be, how it is supposed to be shot, and which audience's taste you have to conform to. So yes, technology, the way it's evolving, I'm all for technology becoming omnipresent. I'm all for cameras becoming omnipresent. I'm very happy when every common person has a camera in his pocket and can shoot high quality images in his pocket. I'm not at all for only a handful of people to be able to afford to make films, because as many number of people there are on this planet, as many number of ideas there are, and all the ideas need to get out. You just need to, now is the time where you just need to work on your ideas and craft and delve deep into your imagination. That's where your film comes from. Now technology, as it keeps getting cheaper, it'll keep becoming more and more possible for us to get our ideas on screen completely unadulterated. Yeah. So that's how technology has helped us, actually.
And that I'd like to now talk to Bedo about it, because he's one of the people responsible for that technology to exist, to come to existence. I met Bedo, as he said, 2 years ago at Goa, and in our first conversation, I started enthusing about. Pankaj and I are tech enthusiasts. We really love. We feel that we have been freed, actually, because of science. Because of we feel that we have been able to educate ourselves, to enlighten ourselves, and to be able to share what we have received, all because of the evolution of technology. So I started enthusing about the things that I'm excited about, the things that I feel we are moving towards. And Bedo said, well, very humbly, he said that, I invented the chip that became red. And
well, and I'm a big fan of
it. And we are like,
all of them. Well,
and I mean, he played a part, and he was one of the scientists working at NASA, I believe, and when a lot of this technology was being evolved, and the technology that went into becoming the camera phones, I believe, is also something that Bedo worked on. So I'm very curious, Bedo. You've done something that that all three of us deeply admire. We feel that you contributed to really to something that that means so much to us at so many levels. I can't even begin to start breaking down the number of levels that it has. It has a meaning for us. And from there, you left that, and
why?
Why did you leave that to make films? I'm very, very curious.
I guess first of all, I don't make films. I make movies. Films are out. I mean, honestly, I can't call my film a film because it has never seen a film. Right. We shot digitally, we edited digitally, projected digitally. So there's a. But yeah, I mean, I was we were one of the. I was in JPL when we came up with this technology. We invented this technology, which then became the digital camera technology. And all digital phones, or not just phones, all digital cameras you use our technology. Not just RED, but ARRI and Canon 5D, 1D, whatever have you. I mean, so that's great. I mean, and in fact, we didn't expect that to happen. Right. Absolutely not. But here is one thing that happened. At that time, my wife used to be in UCLA film school. And after we had invented, very excited that we have come up with a replacement for film. There's one chip that can make the camera possible and so on. So I went to, foolishly of course, went to the UCLA film school with all the professors and students, and said that, one day you would, just imagine, one day you'd be making everything digital. I was all but lynched there. I seriously, I mean, I'm thankful to my angels. I lost one life, they're one of my 9 lives, that I managed to come out of there alive. They're like, why? I can't even begin to tell you. The point I'm making is that, I mean, we have come to a time when we just have to keep our eyes open. That, there are so many things coming up, and it's up to our innovation, up to our inventiveness, how we use those technologies to our benefit. I think with the digital cameras, I mean, I also shot digitally, of course. There's no choice. I mean, in 2010, there was not that many digital cameras around. And
you shot on film.
Seriously, I was told you have to shoot film. Even my DP was a very nice guy. Bedo, you should shoot on film. I understand that medium. I said, sorry, buddy. If after saying all of these things, I should film, I won't be able to live with myself. So I don't care how the film turns out. We are shooting digital. So he was very, very nervous. And in fact, we shot in most of my film was shot, outdoors in Lataguri, in North Bengal. And, if the camera broke down, I didn't have there was no replacement. I mean,
Our lens did break down.
Wow.
Lens did break down.
Wow.
It just came out in 2 pieces.
And I had only one camera because the second camera was not working. So, and we managed to work with that. So the point is that we have to take risks. With every new thing comes new risks. But I want to, one of the things that I just want to touch upon is that as independent cinema now becomes a new catchword. And it's great that it's become a new catchword, and it's a very broad, I think, if you talk about who are the independent filmmakers today, you would see that we all make very different kind of films, and that's, I think, fantastic. That's exactly what we need.
That's what we need. Yeah.
But one thing you should be very careful about, one thing we are not independent of, we are not independent of the audience. Filmmaking at the end of the day is a very, very popular medium. If it doesn't find its audience, just because of the amount of money it takes to make it's not worth it. So we have to have this interaction between audience and filmmakers is one of the key things that would make independent films grow. And the last thing that I want to say about independent films is that we should also figure out one of the things that perhaps is not happening. And it's a very interesting thing. I came a bit early today because I was told that there's going to be a lot of traffic and all that. So I came a bit early, long before nobody was there. So I was so I said, okay, let me browse around the books. And I was just browsing. One of the interesting things I see is that there are lots of books about love, about this, about a lot of films about middle class angst. But one thing that seems to have disappeared from our literature today, by and large, of course there are always exceptions, is there are no good stories about working class that's coming out. And I think that's something that as filmmakers, as literateurs, because I think great films happen when there is great literature. I think today that need is I'm seeing that as kind of a vacuum that would be filled. I'm 100% sure would be filled, but that's something that is kind of missing. Today's our films are not going back to the days where there was this interest in what the working class is doing, what peasantry is doing, and so on. That's a very like you talk about Manik Bandyopadhyay, you talk about Somoresh Basu. Just talking about Bengali writers. That kind of stories perhaps are needed because we independent filmmakers also need good stories.
Yeah, there are. Nabarun Bhattacharya, of course.
Absolutely.
So, I'm deeply interested in what you just said, and just to, it's nice that it came down to the working class because I totally believe that we are. As opposed to cinema being an elitist medium, I see us independent filmmakers, and that sort of culture starts from the documentary filmmakers, which has been a consistent space which Indian filmmakers have actually kept to. For the last 15 years, there have been amazing documentary filmmakers who have been consciously pushing the envelope regardless of any support. Yes. They have had no support. So looking at them, they don't look like filmmakers. Because filmmakers look like filmmakers. They are elitists. They have cars, they have, filmmakers. They're cool people. Now, these guys are, no, well, we try. We try very hard. But at the same time, we must also, when I see ourselves on the streets, right, it's more like a labor job, It's not like you got a job and you're going to office and you have something, you have responsibilities, but these responsibilities are very physical in nature. Okay, we have to carry our own bags, we carry our own cameras, we want to set up our tripod. Myself, there was this shoot which I had to do with the unions, and they just couldn't understand the idea why I was holding the tripod. And I wouldn't give it. There was this number happening. No, Dada, please. No, I mean, you know, that, and that, I think, logic of the working class is super important for me. And the fact that even in Tashe, the take is a bourgeois take. Tagore is a bourgeois poet. And I'm not, let's not even go there. Okay. He was looking at the village from his boat, in the middle of the river. But not taking anything, not taking anything away from the art. Because whether you're an artist can lean any which way, doesn't matter. They are also victims of their circumstances. So therefore, in my case, I constantly see myself as a more sort of working class proletariat filmmaker who does not know anything, who is underexposed and undermanned, and you know.
Calcutta is the only place now where you hear these words bourgeois and proletariat.
I know. This is why I say it every time. You know, people have forgotten who can spell bourgeois. Please.
I was the hammer on so many walls yesterday. I was walking through Kolkata and I was like still seeing sickle and the hammer. Wow.
I wrote about bourgeois saying with one of my friends, and he said, "What does that word mean?"
Yeah, because that's what we all are now. So unfortunately, there's no proletariat anymore. So anyway, the point that I was trying to make is that I often consider our kind of, my kind of filming, I wouldn't say, because you might not take this kindly, that we are like Chinese mobile phones. The technology is amazing, but it's also super cheap. Okay. The BlackBerry that my friend bought his girlfriend cost 34,000 bucks. Then he didn't have any more money, but he really wanted that kind of a phone also for himself. So he bought a Blueberry.
Oh, blue.
Yeah, which is the Chinese version of the BlackBerry, right? The girlfriend dropped the BlackBerry after a couple of weeks, and it broke, and they had to repair it. It was a fucking mess. His Blueberry is still working. And it has the same features. And it has undercut the market and reached everyone, you know. So when we talk about democracy is a very, very weird space. I am not a great believer in it, but at the same time, it's like a single harmonic factor, like everything's available for everyone. That doesn't always work because it doesn't come with a user manual. The user manuals are with only some people, okay? So you have this shit, but you don't know how to use it, right? So the rickshawala on the street now has the smartphone, but what information is that, does that contain? What information are we allowing that bandwidth, you know, what information do we flow through that?
Right.
So this is a crucial space, I think, where independent cinema can play a part. I think what he was referring to is, I would say less, I mean, I have sort of moved on from the space where literature and cinema, it was classically related, but now cinema has its own space, can develop its very own language, and should go beyond literature to an extent and start infiltrating literature, perhaps, you know, influencing literature. So if it's not happening this way, let it happen the other way. But at the same time, it is crucial that we don't only talk about or to a certain class, a certain level of people.
Certainly.
So I completely agree with you.
No, that's
These
such
are all
a
thoughts.
wonderful,
These are
such a
all
nice
thoughts.
metaphor. I really like the metaphor of.
The Chinese movie.
Yeah, I love the metaphor of the Chinese mobile.
The Chinese mobile phone, yeah, but it would have worked for us if our multiplex prices were cheaper. You know? The
That's
tragedy
another
is,
thing, no?
yes, we have to still go through the infrastructure
Yeah.
to get on the big screen, and the ticket prices are the same as any of the mainstream ticket prices. So.
We really need to build a new infrastructure.
Yes, we need to build a new infrastructure to reach everyone.
But I guess it is a bit funny that we're talking about independence. We should have to invoke China.
That's politically extremely relevant. Actually, we shall have this conversation tomorrow at the same time in the same place.
And no, of course, and I really love the metaphor of the user manual. That's really something that we keep thinking about as you know, the the failings of the environment where everything is available, but without the user manual. And how do you, I mean, that really is the great metaphor and the great question of censorship of everything that we are talking about here. So, you know, if you're creating material like Gandu, you know, Gandu also does not come with user manual, and Ship of Theseus doesn't come with a user manual. And how do you keep providing the key along with the you know, the piece itself, and how do you infiltrate through intuition, through emotion, and through image, while and kind of create this bubble. We were talking about this bubble, or this that becomes the vehicle of something that's infiltrating, actually, the message that's infiltrating. And the bubble can be made up of in our case, emotion and beauty. In your case, probably pornography, as you said. And but the bubble is the medium, the vehicle that one can use to create this infiltration. But then the question after that is the user manual, and that's also something that's really worth talking about.